let's continue the analysis of the word game Alesia with the illustration, with the explanation of a complete turn. Well, I'm going to activate at first the Gaul army. Well, please remember that generally in the game, or not generally, always in the game, the Gallic player always moves first. So let's start with our container, where I have placed the activation sheets. Well, let's draw a sheet. Well, and well, I have drawn, well, number 2, well, but color, well, blue. So when I'm drawing this sheet, well, I have to activate 2 leaders that are besieged in the citadel of Alesia. So since I have only 2 leaders, well, I can activate both Vercingetorix, and beyond Vercingetorix also this other unknown leader, Cretan. Well, what can I do? First of all, we have a range that we have to apply to check if all the units are in command. Well, at the moment, Vercingetorix has got a range of 4 axes, so he can activate all the units that are inside Alesia. Well, what are we going to do? Is it a good idea to move immediately Vercingetorix outside Alesia? I think not. In my previous test, I realized that moving Vercingetorix immediately, well, can lead to the loss of the leader. So I'm not going to do anything. Well, and probably it's better to wait for the Roman turn, and obviously the Roman player has nothing to do. So let's continue with the second activation, and to illustrate better in a detailed way the system, I'm going to draw, well, Relief Army 1. What does this activation sheet indicate? At first, that we can activate 1 leader that belongs to the relief army. Well, I'm going to show the players, well, the relief army, and I place well, some units coming from the west. So I'm going to activate, well, sorry for the hand. Well, I'm going to activate these units. I'm going to place these units along the edge of the map. Well, we have a leader called Ileanus. Well, I don't have to check the range. Why? Because we are outside, so it's enough to activate the leader to have these units enter the map. So, well, very easy. As usual, well, the combo units has a 3 movement allowance. So 1, 2, I have to stop. Why? Because this unit is entering. I'm going to repeat 1, 2. I'm going to stop. Why? Because this unit is entering into an enemy zone of control. Well, the same about these other units, and I'm going to move also the leader, a 4-6 leader here. Well, they are ready to attack. I'm going to do the same about these other 2 units, but unfortunately, well, they have to cross the stream, and the stream has a cost of +1 by considering the terrain effect chart. I'm going to stream exile, I'm going to show you, well, +1. Please remember that we have two kinds of movement cost, Romans and Gauls, but in this case, when they are crossing a stream exile, well, we have a +1 of modified movement. So actually these units are forced to stop before crossing the stream, otherwise they would spend 4 hexes. Let's continue with the other units. Well, 1, 2, 3, the same about this one. Then I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Well, let's show me. Well, 1, 2, 3. If you notice, well, I have moved only 3, 6, 10 units belonging to the relief army. Now the movement activation is done. Please remember, and I want to avoid the players a mistake that I made during the first game. Well, when the activation is only used to move the units. When we are doing the combat phase, well, actually we have to combat not only by using the activated units, but we have to start the combats with all units that are in enemy zone of control. Very, very important. Why? Because this sort of rule gives the idea of continuous fighting while the other units entering the map. So it's not so bad, this rule, and very, very appreciable. So now, since the movement phase is over, let's proceed with the combat phase. I have already said that the combat is mandatory. So by considering this situation, we have in hex 2019 we have Ilanus, well, and 4 3 units and a 2 3 units. Well, and another peculiarity that we find in this game is that even if we have the possibility to stack the units, the combat is made only by using 1 unit. So there is a 4 3 units, so strength 4. Well, and this unit is attacking the Roman camp, well, where we find a legion unit 2 3. Well, there isn't any odds, on the contrary. Well, what about the combat factor? 4. So we have to roll on the column 4. But since the Roman camp, well, has combat effects that obviously favors the defender, Roman camp, I'm going to show you, well, gives a shift, 2 shifts of column favoring the Roman player. So we are going to show that for less 2 columns. Well, this unit is fighting on column 2. Let's roll the die. Well, we scored 4. When we roll 4 on the column 2, well, we have, well, 4, nothing. If we rolled 5, well, in this case the unit suffered a disrupt result, and we have to flip it. Well, this is not the case. Well, guys, I have forgotten one thing about, well, please remember that the leader helps the units in the attacking phase, and actually a leader gives 1 shift of column right on the combat table. So by considering this attack, if you want to correct that, well, instead of rolling on column 2, you had to roll on column 3. So by considering 4, well, we got D, so disrupted unit. So actually, by using the leader, well, the Roma unit has to flip. So please remember, the leader units help the attacking units, not in defense, only concerning the attack phase. Well, now this local attack is over. Let's continue. Well, we have to resolve these other two combats. We have 2 units, 2 5-3 units that are attacking this stack where we find a fort, a legion unit, and a centurion. Well, a very, very strong hex. Well, as usual, we have 2 units that compose the stack, but we have to attack 1 unit. We can use only 1 unit. So 5-3. Well, 2 shifts of column as usual. Why? Because the defender is placed in the Roman camp. Let's roll the die. Well, 1. Well, when the player rolls 1, well, I want to show you on column 3. On column 3 we have A. What does it mean? Actually, when the player rolls 1, well, he can suffer 1 loss, 1 disrupt unit. Only if there is a missile fire unit in the defending hex, and in this case we have a fort hex that is considered a missile unit. So when there is a missile unit and we roll 1, well, the attacking unit suffer a loss, so we are obliged to flip the Gaul unit. If you notice, well, the typical disrupted Gaul unit, well, loses 1 step, and it is reduced only to 1 point on strength. So the Gaul units are very strong when they are complete. They enter for the first time the map, but unfortunately when they suffer a loss, well, they lose a lot of strength. So pay attention. Well, I always advise to retreat such kind of units and waiting for a possible morale check where you can recover the unit. Obviously, please remember that the combat is mandatory, so you are forced to roll also for the other unit. It's attacking always on column 3. Let's roll the die. Well, this time, well, the Gaul player scores 6. What does it mean? That on column 3, well, let me see, the Gaul player gets R. What does it mean? First of all, R, well, means that we have to disband, we have to disrupt 1 unit. I'm going to flip the first Roman unit, and well, these 6, by considering the R, well, forces the Roman player to retreat his stack. But since there is a Roman fort, well, the Roman player can ignore the retreat result. Well, let's roll the last attack. Well, we have a unit with a strength of 4, less 2 columns, column 2. Well, we get 5, and on column 2, 5. Well, we have another D, so the Gaul player is lucky. Why? Because well, D, well, we are forced to remove definitely the legion unit. So, well, I'm going to place the unit in the eliminated Roman units, and this elimination gives the goal player 1 point. Please remember that, well, to win beyond to move Vercingetorix outside Alesia towards the relief army, well, the final victory can generally the players have to count the points that come from the eliminated units. Well, guys, this was the illustration of a complete Gaul turn, and now it's time to continue with the example of a Roman turn. Let's complete our analysis about Alesia by illustrating, well, the Roman turn. Well, I have already said that the activation is made through the drawing of the activation sheets. Well, I have already drawn a sheet number 2. What does it mean? That I can activate 2 leaders. Well, there are 3 activation markers that I can place on my leader. Well, I want to show you. Just a moment, I'm going to place the Gaul units that are attacking the western Roman camp. Well, I'm going to activate Caesar and Antonius, well, to show you the Roman reaction to the western Gaul attack. Well, active leader placed. I'm going to move. Well, in my initial deployment, I placed Caesar with the 2 powerful German cavalry units, and Caesar gives 2 combat shifts that favor the attacking cavalry units. Well, they are very very powerful by considering also their mobility, 5 hexes. So, well, I'm going to move them 1, 2, 3, 5. Please remember that the great mobility, the great Roman mobility, is given also by the fortification. Well, half a hex instead of 1 hex when the Roman units are moving along the fortification. Anyway, Caesar can reach without any problem the hex 19 and 20 to attack the leader Ileanus in 2017. Well, I have already said that the attack. Sorry, guys, I have to move. I have to finish the activation with the other leader. Well, Antonius, well, is doing the same. Well, Antonio is placed with 2 Gallic units that are allied to the Romans. 1, 2, 3. Well, Antonius, well, counter-attack. Well, the other units coming from west where there is any leader. Well, what can I do? At first, Caesar, when is stacked with the units, gives 2 shifts. So let's consider. Well, we have 2 cavalry units. Well, only once can attack, and then I'm going to attack with the other one, with the second one. 3, well, I have to roll on column 3, but I have to add the 2 shift columns of Caesar, so 3 plus 2 columns. Well, I'm going to roll on column 5. Let's roll the die. Well, I score 4. When I'm rolling 4, I get D. So 1 unit in a defending stack has to lose 1 step, or better, has to be disrupted. 2-3, well, has only one step. On the contrary, let me see, I'm going to flip the 4-3 units, and it becomes a 1-2. It turns into 1-2 units. Please remember that the leader gives combat shifts only when the units are attacking. Well, let's roll with the second unit. Another 4. So now, well, I could lose the step of the leader. Well, it's not advisable. On the contrary, I'm going to remove the 2-3 unit, and I'm going to place it into the eliminated, it's flip in the eliminated Gallic unit, well, box. So Caesar has inflicted a lot of losses. Well, there isn't any retreat. Please remember that on the column there isn't the R, but it's foreseen when you roll 5 and 6. So only a D. Well, the stack is forced to lose one step. Well, anyway, Caesar is very, very, very powerful when he could attack with the cavalry. Well, let's do the same with Antonius. Antonius has 2 other cavalry units, 2-6. Well, Antonius gives 1 column shift, so it's attacking. Well, this hex, well, 22-19, 60. Well, the defender has to choose the possible lost step. Let's roll. 1. Well, 1. Antonius rolls on column 3. On column 3, 1, it's A. But since the Gaul units don't have any missile unit, well, A doesn't cause the loss of any step. Well, let's roll with the second cavalry unit. 2 column 3, well, the same, no result. So, well, the Antonius attack is ineffective. Well, that's all as regards the Roman phase. Well, sorry guys, I have forgotten to roll for the so-called offensive fire. Before executing the melee phase, well, the Roman player can use the offensive fire by launching javelins, arrows coming from the fort. So please remember, we have a range of 2. Let's roll the die. 6. Well, on column 2, 6, we have D. So by considering this stack, well, the Gaul player is forced to disrupt 1 unit. Well, I'm going to flip the 4-3 unit. Well, and the Roman player could do the same with the all force and with all missile fire units that can strike the Gallic army. So if you notice, well, the Roman forts are very, very powerful. There aren't many archer units. If I will remember, 1, 2. Well, but obviously the Roman forts can continuously fire without any problem. Well, and I think that it's enough as regards the explanation about Alesia. I want to remind you that if you want to try another game, probably my thought goes to the old Alesia published by Avalon Hill, but this game, well, allows 2 players in about 4 hours to complete a game. Yes, you can criticize the common results table, that is quite simple. probably the scale is not so good to represent in a detailed way the battle, but I can assure you that the game well deserves your attention and can illustrate in a short time well the situation that Caesar had to face. So guys, thank you for your attention. Hope to you see in a coming soon video about Africa Core, the old Africa Core and the new one designed by the Italian Giacomo Fedele. Thank you for your attention again, and bye.